Welcome to another historic. It's an historic episode of Who's Your Nurse podcast. We have no Chris with a C or Mikey with an M. It is just Tim and Chris. So you can hear
TK,
us argue for the next hour.
welcome to another exciting episode of Who's Your Nerds podcast where me and Tim kill each other the whole day. That's right, folks. It's a battle royale.
Essentially, it will be a battle royale. Yes. Oh, it says here, since a recording, it says, "Let everyone know they're being recorded."
You need my consent, sir.
I need permission. Do I have your permission to record? What are your pronouns?
So free agency was crazy.
Did your Cowboys even make a move?
I didn't get a single Cowboy notification, so I'm gonna guess not.
Unbelievable. Yeah, who's on the move? Let's see here. Do I have a 2024 free agency list? Let's see if I can pull one up real quick.
Like Jordan Poyer went to the Dolphins. Like I remember that one. Devontae Parker signed to the Eagles. Saquon went to the Eagles.
Yeah, can you believe that? And then frickin'
I saw-
Aaron, who was it? Went to
Did you see TK Barber came out and was like talking shit about, I can't remember what he said specifically, but he was talking shit about Saquon for going to like the rival Eagles. First of all, the Eagles are a better franchise than the Giants. Second of all, who is TK Barber to talk about anybody like being Saquon is leagues better than TK ever was. The only thing TK Barber had going for him was his name. He was never as good as his brother. And his name's Tiki. Oh, not TK. Tiki Barber.
yeah, Tiki Barber.
But
Yes,
I
who
was
do you, Cousins went to Atlanta. Why would you do that? I'm not sure of that move.
yeah, that was weird.
I think plus, and why did Minshew move from Indianapolis to Las Vegas?
You got that Minshew. You jumping on that Minshew magic.
I like Minshew. I'm a big fan of Gardner Minshew. However,
He's not bad, but I don't think he's any better than Derek Carr was.
well, I know, I agree. I agree. He's not outstanding. He's not great, but
No, he's like
let's see.
he's a
But
little higher than middle of the pack.
yeah, but why did the Colts let him go? Considering, I know they got Richardson, but he's as fragile as a friggin' toothpick. So
What the Colts are doing these last couple seasons for the Colts have been just a mess.
Trubisky went to Buffalo.
I feel like ever since Luck randomly retired after the draft, that was like it was just downhill from there.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do agree with that.
Like I
Yes.
think they had like a couple ups with like Darius Leonard and stuff, obviously, but for the most part, it was like the draft, and then like a few days after the draft, Andrew Luck retires, and then I feel like it was just all downhill.
Yeah, Dante Johnson went to Carolina. No, to Pittsburgh. Right?
Yeah. No, I think he was on Pittsburgh. Deontay.
Oh, that's right. Oh yeah, no, yeah, for Deontay Johnson. Okay. No, Dante Jackson
Oh, Dante Jackson. Yeah,
was
yeah.
traded to yeah. Jalen Mills signed with the Giants. Who was it? The running back for the Packers. He signed with Minnesota.
Oh,
Aaron,
Aaron
what's his name?
Jones.
Who?
Aaron Jones, right?
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Minnesota.
Trent Sieg was signed by the Cowboys today.
No idea what that is.
I don't either. Yeah, Aaron Jones signed a 1-year, $7 million deal with the Vikings. Darnold signed. Oh, they got Sam Darnold in
I
Minnesota
have
as a
faith my
quarterback.
Cowboys can pull it off, but I mean, being a Cowboys fan is 80% faith. So
Mixon was. I'm not happy about Mixon going to Houston.
Yeah, I mean
'Cause-
Houston's kind of been struggling the last 5-6 years. So
Well, who did? Where did? What's his name? Didn't he? Oh, the dude for Tennessee. He signed somewhere, right?
what, the running back, Derrick Henry?
Yeah, Derrick Henry.
I didn't see where Derrick Henry.
I think he signed. Hang on, I'm looking. Let's go running back. Hang on. Let's see where it's at. Running back. Update. Henry signed with jeez. Signed with the freaking Ravens.
Oh boy,
Yeah, right.
that's gonna be terrifying.
Eckler left. Boy, San Diego's like fire sailing, because Eckler just signed a 2-year deal with Washington. And they're talking about getting rid of. I've heard of getting rid of Bosa and Khalil Mack because it's too much money.
Just re-signing. I mean, Khalil's got to be like 32 at this point, 33.
Yeah.
I feel like Khalil's
Easy.
kind of.
Yeah, he came out. Yeah, he's been around for a while. Didn't he come out close to the same time? Yeah, Carr did, I would think. Devin Singletary signed with the Giants.
Yeah, Khalil Mack's 33. He's gonna be signing a 33-year-old linebacker to nothing.
No. Naheem Hines signed with the Cleveland.
It's not a bad move.
No. DeAndre Swift signed a 3-year deal with the Bears.
I feel like so weird after free agency seeing all the people move around.
There's been a lot. What's his name signed again with the Bucks? Their quarterback. He re-signed. Who's it? Yeah. That guy. Who's that guy? That guy that their quarterback re-signed.
Who?
Bucks.
The
troublemaker.
Garoppolo?
No. The guy that was in Cleveland.
Oh, is it still what's his face?
Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield. I can't remember his name. That just shows you how good of a quarterback he is.
I think it's a good move. I've always thought Baker Mayfield was a good quarterback. I don't know why. Cleveland was stupid to get rid of him, honestly. Yeah, Saquon signed with Philadelphia. Devin Singletary signed with the Giants. Mixon signed with Houston.
I'm a fan of Saquon because he's Penn State, so doesn't matter where he goes for me.
I mean, the Raiders have been busy. They signed that defensive lineman. Right? Where was he from? Does it even say right here? I guess not. Where's it at? Let me see. February 23rd. Oh, I'm looking. I thought the Raiders signed a defensive lineman. Didn't they sign somebody big, didn't they? It goes with Max Crosby on the other end. Let's see here. They re-signed Amir Abdullah. Is that the only one? They ain't said the other one. I thought they signed a big ass
Trent Sieg's really the only one that the Cowboys signed.
Right. Why aren't they moving on anybody? They need a lot.
Reconstructing Mahomes' contract.
I feel like the Cowboys is making a bad move by not moving on anybody.
Unless they're waiting to see like the dust settle, but I don't know why you wouldn't move on people now.
Garoppolo, they can move on Garoppolo. He's being released tomorrow.
Jordan Poyer, Danielle Hunter to the Texans.
Zamir White is staying with the Raiders. That's a good move. They dumped him. They probably lost.
Like Tyron Smith is still a free agent. Calvin Ridley's still a free agent. Arik Armstead's still a free agent. Kendall Fuller's still a free agent.
Patrick Queen is signing with the Steelers from the Ravens.
Cold sign Raekwon. Jonathan Owens. A lot of these are.
Jacobs. It's gonna be weird to see Jacobs in a freaking Packers uniform.
ESPN's listening to this. Fix your damn app.
What?
I'm trying to look at something on the ESPN app. It keeps crashing.
Oh,
I might have to update it, but either way, fix your app.
let's take a look here. I know they signed somebody. I don't know. I kind of like. I like them. I like the Minshew signing. I don't get Eckler going to. Why would you? Yeah, the Raiders lost an offensive tackle to the Giants. Jermaine Elumunor. And then, how much did Garner sign for? He signed a 2-year deal.
Cowboys, according to this article, Cowboys don't really have enough money to be making free agent moves. That's why.
2-year, $25 million. 15 of it's guaranteed to Garner Minshew. I mean, they don't have the money.
The Cowboys are listed as having $2.2 million in cap space, but they are just $809,000 under in effective cap space, so they can't really make any moves. Further in, it's possible the Cowboys, Jerry Jones' all-in statement means that they're just running it back. Dak's last year of his contract. They might be saving money for Dak's contract.
Defensive tackle Christian Wilkins signed with the Raiders. 4-year, $110 million base, 84.75 guaranteed. He played with the Dolphins. That's a huge move. So you're going to have him and Crosby on the same defensive line. I'll take that. And I mean, I know Josh Jacobs is good, and he's like, but I never, especially in the last few years. I mean, he never caught a touchdown pass.
Really?
He never caught a receiving touchdown. 10th among running backs, 6th in receiving, 3rd in rushing touchdowns, 3rd in rushing yards, 3rd in rushes. So I mean, like his numbers aren't like super stellar. It's not like they're. That Zamir White's a good player, so I'm not like. I kind of expected Jacobs to leave anyway, especially after his deal last year where he held out. So I don't know who else is going to surprise. I did see that Aaron Rodgers is on the RFK short list of people to run for vice president. Can he play and can he play football and be vice president at the same time? I don't know. Minshew's a Band-Aid. But who do you take? So who would you take? Would you take him or Justin Fields and have to like give up somebody big?
Minshew or Fields?
Minshew or Fields?
Fields.
Yeah, but you might have to give up. You would have to give up like Max Crosby though.
I'd give up Max Crosby for Fields.
I wouldn't.
I just think Minshew's. I mean, like if you're going to keep Minshew and then like draft another quarterback, I guess that's one thing. But Minshew's already got to be again in the same boat that Khalil's in. He's got to be like 30, 31, 32. So
right, but I'm not sold. I've never been sold on Fields being a good quarterback.
But I don't think he's any worse than Minshew would be.
Oh no, I don't either. That's what I'm saying. Would you sign Minshew or for as a free agent.
Like I
Or
said, it would depend on if they have like a first round draft pick coming up, because then you could draft a quarterback after like Minshew leaves or whatever.
yeah, I'll have to see
But
what they're.
Fields is at least young enough that he can still grow into a good quarterback. You don't have to start off like Pat Mahomes and be Slayer the first couple years of your season of your career. But I think Fields still has potential. The problem with Fields was he was stuck on the Bears, and the Bears didn't have jack
Right.
shit. They didn't have an offense. They didn't have a defense. Like
Minshew's only 27.
they had a co. Oh, Minshew's younger than I thought he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Fields' problem. He was just like a product of a shitty team.
Oh, I agree with that.
So I
But
think he can be better. Like if he was on like a better team, I think like if you take Fields and drop him in, I mean, I guess if you take any quarterback and drop him in the Chiefs offense, that he would shine.
you think?
Yeah.
I'm not sold on him yet. I've
He's got
never
the
been.
same mobility.
Let's see here. The Vegas picks 13th this year.
That's not bad.
No. Bears have 2 in the first 10 picks. They have 2 picks in the first 10. They picked number 1 because they got it from Carolina. That was a steal. And then they've got the 9 slot. It's Bears, Redskins, Patriots, Cardinals, Chargers, Giants, Titans, Falcons, Bears, Jets, Vikings, Broncos, Raiders. Colts picked 15th. Cowboys picked 24th. There you go. So yeah, there have been a lot of. But the thing is, why would think of the explosive backfield you would have had if Aaron Jones would have stayed um,
Green Bay?
in Green Bay?
Yeah.
Like, why would you? I don't understand why you would move on that. Why you would? That one makes no sense to me. So, I don't know.
Chargers. Pats reportedly checked in with the Chargers about possible trade candidates at a time when receivers Mike Williams and Keenan Allen and edge rushers Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack are all the subjects of trade rumors. Nobody's trading for Keenan Allen. He's 37 years old. I mean, I'm not
Is he
saying
still playing?
I think Keenan Allen's like one of the better receivers in the last like 15 years, but he's 31. So he's still got like a couple years left in him. He's just hurt for so much.
Right. Right. I don't know. So who's? I mean, there's a lot left. So we'll see who's.
For 2 friggin' fantasy seasons.
That's the worst, especially early, and then they're like out for the year.
I mean,
It's like a wasted draft pick.
it was our league that we keep our teams every year, and we just draft new players. So I just stashed him. But I was like, how long am I gonna have to sit on this guy for him to come back? Because he was hurt like the last half of one season, and then the whole next season. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I went from having like a superstar stud team in that league to all my players like retired or just started to turn to ass. Like my quarterbacks were Matt Ryan and Drew Brees. Like I won like the first 3 seasons or something.
When Matt Ryan was good.
When Matt Ryan and Drew Brees were just slinging it. And then like the same thing I had like Michael Thomas and like some other receivers, like a couple of good running backs. Like I had a stacked team and everybody just slowly retired. I was like, hope Drew Brees isn't playing. It's his backup guy that they would use for trick plays sometimes. I can't think of his name right now. Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
Hill?
I wonder why. Like, how does an NFL player? How's an NFL quarterback go from like elite to like suck in like 2 years?
I don't
Is it like he'll go to a different he'll go to a different team and suck? Like, is it the system that he's playing under?
know. Like
Is it
it
a
could like the
is
just
it a
like the system, like the not that I doubt quarterbacks' abilities to like learn a new playbook, but there's a difference when you're playing with, certain take Brady for example. Well, maybe not Brady because he didn't have like the most consistent receiving core, but when you have a consistent quarterback receiving core, I know exactly where. So I'm just going to use him as an example. Dak knows exactly where CD Lamb is going to be on a slant because they've run it 1,000 times.
right?
He knows exactly the spot on the field to throw the ball, and CD will be there. Same thing for like when you're handing the ball off to your running back. Like you know exactly how many steps they're going to take before you hand them the ball. So I feel like it's kind of just like the intangibles, if you will, that make it harder for just players to swap teams every once in a while because they don't know their surrounding players as well anymore.
I mean,
Like
I
if
guess
you're
so. I could see that.
on your left tackle, I know for a fact that Tyrone Smith's not going to let anybody by. So I never have to look that way. Whereas if you swap teams and now you don't have Tyrone Smith, now you got to kind of like look over your left shoulder to make sure you're not going to get blasted.
Right. I gotcha.
And then part of it could be just, depending on the quarterback, like complacency, like just, thinking you're better than you are. But I mean, I feel like there's really not too many super cocky quarterbacks. Like, and I don't mean like cocky as in like, yeah, I'm the best. I mean like basketball cocky, like in your face. Like when the camera comes to them, they're like, yeah, Eagles suck dick. Like crazy shit like that. I feel like there's no like the linebackers, the linemen, they can all get crazy, but like the faces of the teams are all pretty like cool, calm, and collected. I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I
Like I've
get
never
it.
seen a quarterback like lose his shit. Like
I mean,
on
back
camera.
in the day, like way back in the day, like Tarkington and them guys back in the '70s, Ken Stabler, they did. They didn't care.
You're like, what did you think of this tight game? Like, yeah, we knew we'd beat their ass as soon as we came in the thing. Like, I feel like you don't really hear that often anymore.
No, you don't. The last time was Chad Pennington when he said, "We'll take the ball and we're going to win," and they
Oh yeah,
lost.
and they lost.
So,
And I think it was a pick six that he threw for a touchdown that ended the game, if I remember correctly. It was like a
so
few play. It might have actually been the first play of overtime.
yeah, it was. Yeah, it was embarrassing.
He
So maybe
threw.
that's why they don't talk shit. I mean, I'm just saying that could be. I don't know, but
So you
you know,
don't count your chickens before they
I
hatch.
don't know. I would like to see somebody back it up. You know what I mean? Just
Like Lamar can get like a little cocky sometimes, which is kind of like nice to see.
yeah.
Like Lamar brought that, dare I say, like ghetto attitude to the mic.
I mean, that's what Antonio Pierce is saying that the Raiders' mentality is going to be is they're going to hurt people, which is fine with me. I don't care.
That worked out for what was it? Was it the Packers or the Saints that had the
Well, you can't have a hit list.
hit list? Don't post it up in the locker room.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Like you
But
can have just keep it on the DL.
well, yeah, that too. I mean,
Like, hey, we're going to we're going to face Mahomes this week. I want you guys to fuck him up. I want you to
yeah,
destroy.
that's what I was thinking. Like in the Super Bowl, why wouldn't you activate like somebody off the practice squad and just level Mahomes in the knees?
And just send him in.
Yeah, and he's get kicked out of the game, but so what? He's the
But
third stringer. It's not going to matter.
if you injure their quarterback, it's not going to matter if your third string player got
Oh,
kicked out.
I mean, that's my thought. Maybe I'm over. Maybe I shouldn't think that way. But if that was me, I'm sending in some
I've
garbage
thought
guy.
that same way before, or like on a kick. I've thought just like destroy the kicker. Like who cares if they get 15 yards on the
Yeah,
kick?
I know. That was my
The
thought.
ball
Just
go over
smash
their
the
head.
quarterback, drill his shoulder in the ground.
Yeah, correct.
I mean, that's what I would do if I was a football coach. We need enforcers like hockey. Hockey don't even have enforcers anymore, really, like they used to. Man, they did back in the day. God, you had like Bob Probert, and you had Stu Grimson. Those guys were out there specifically to hit people.
Oh yeah. I
That
mean
was
that was kind of like Chara for a time on the
that's what
Bruins.
that's what yeah that's what we need. We need football players, and
He's
there
like
were football players like that. I mean,
a 6'8" monster. Yeah, Ed Too Tall Jones.
well, I saw this thing on Twitter the other day, and
Eh,
um, it's funny how young people are and they're thinking because they're like, name a player that other people were afraid to play against. And everybody picked like Ray Lewis and Michael Jordan, and I'm like, or LeBron James, and I'm like, I would have hated to play against Jordan, Bird, Chamberlain, Bill Laimbeer. I could name like 6 other players other than LeBron that I would be afraid of playing against in basketball. Football, I could think of 6 guys in football ahead of Ray Lewis that I wouldn't want to play against.
Yeah.
It just shows you how far back they don't. I mean, some of these players, like I wouldn't want to have played against Dick Butkus. That was before my time, but I still know that Dick Butkus bit people and threw them in the ground and was kicked them and was mean, and you know what I mean. I
Mean
wouldn't want to have
Joe
played
Green.
against you. Like you mentioned Ed Too Tall Jones. He was on my list too, or him, Jack Lambert, Mean Joe Green. You know what I mean? The
Thanks, Mean
Steelers
Joe
defense in
Green.
the 70s.
Yeah, the whole defense.
Yeah, the whole defense. Yeah, the steel curtain. Jack
Who do you
Ham,
not want to face? The Steelers defense.
the
No,
Steelers,
I mean like one player. No. The whole Steelers.
the whole team. Mel Blunt. I mean, nobody picked Ronnie Lott. Like, how could you not pick? He was like a headhunter.
Ronnie Lott is always the one of the like players in Madden Ultimate Team that they give for free that you can upgrade throughout the season or
Oh yeah,
throughout like the year, and he just turns into like a monster by the end
yeah.
of the year.
Well, that's the way he played anyway. I mean,
Yeah,
like he injured his like pinky finger or something, and he was going to be out. He cut the finger off so he could play.
that's more of sociopath than player.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan was so mad. He cut a car
You
in
can't
half with a
play
hacksaw.
you can't play football. You got to go to a mental institution.
I'm just saying, I would have. I would have. There was, like I said, there was a lot more players I picked other than Ray Lewis that were scary beings. Like they would hurt you. I mean, Lewis. I mean, somebody might murder you, and he will cover it up for him. But I don't know if there was somebody I'd be scared of playing.
I mean, if we're gonna go that route, then I would be scared of playing OJ. I mean, if we're if we're taking that route, then
I mean, I'm just saying.
won't be saying much after playing with OJ.
I would want to play against Lyle Alzado because he was all roided up. Like I would not want to have played against a roided up Lyle Alzado.
I mean, there was even some like giant baseball players. Granted, it was steroids that made them giant, but
Well, yeah, like you don't. Yeah, like I wouldn't want to face Nolan Ryan.
like they would detach your head if they hit you with a bat.
Like people were like, I wouldn't want to face. I wouldn't want to face Barry Bonds. I wouldn't want to, as a baseball player. I wouldn't want to face anybody because I'm not a pitcher. But I think I would have a chance against some pitchers trying to hit the ball. But
Why
it
wouldn't
wouldn't
you
want
just
to. I
walk?
wouldn't pick like Greg Maddux or Nolan Ryan
Why wouldn't
or
you just walk
Randy
Bond?
Johnson.
every time?
Who?
Why wouldn't you just walk Barry Bonds like every time?
Well,
Or like
that's what they did.
like big hitters. Like I
Shoot,
know they did it for a while with somebody. I think it was. I can't remember if it was Justin or Brian Upton. I think it was Justin Upton. He was like the first baseman on the Yankees, maybe or something.
uh-huh.
And they like literally just walked him every time he was up at bat. And then like the one time they would throw like a normal thing, he would just knock it out of the park, and it'd be like, and that's why they walk him.
I mean, I wouldn't even pick. Like I wouldn't pick. Who else wouldn't I go up against? I wouldn't go up against Don Larson. Like he pitched a perfect game in the World Series. Like he is the only pitcher in the history of baseball to pitch a perfect game in the World Series. So, I mean, if you're gonna pick people that you're afraid of playing against, you can't go back 15 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they were a lot scarier way back in the day than they are. Ray Lewis wasn't scary. He's just mouthy.
And on top of it, it was more like the team. I mean, Ray
It
Lewis was
was.
good, but he wasn't going to do anything by himself. You needed Ed Reed. I'm pretty sure was on that team. Ed Reed's
Yeah.
behind him. Like, okay, even if Ray Lewis misses you, and you have Ed Reed coming at you full speed, who was arguably just as powerful.
I mean, like I said, there's so many. I mean, like you said, like we talked about, we picked the steel curtain of this of the Steelers. I mean, even the Cowboys. Shoot, what they had Ed Tudor Jones and they had, Randy White, and I mean, they were loaded too. I mean, so I wouldn't just pick one. If I was going to pick one guy, one person I would be afraid to play football against probably would be Dick Butkus. Just because he was just mean and nasty. He would bite people. That's how. I mean,
It's crazy.
he'd step on people's hands, and they got away with it back then. They didn't
Oh,
even they didn't care. Jack Tatum, dude, crippled a man. I would never line up against Jack Tatum. He literally crippled a football player.
You think that's
And
Jason?
he wasn't penalized. They would kick him out of football if they hit a player like that. Let's look it up. He hit Darryl Stingley in a preseason game. Stingley came across the middle.
Oh, yeah.
He was a wide receiver for the Patriots, and Tatum hit him. Took his arms and just shoved his head up under his neck, broke his neck, and he was quadriplegic. So Tatum never got fined. He never got he didn't get kicked out of the game. Nothing.
I'd be more mad at the quarterback who threw me into a death shot.
Well, yeah. Why would you throw across the middle against Jack Tatum? Like you should know that.
We say that all the time. Like a slot receiver, like if you're coming across the middle of the field, you have to, trust your quarterback not to throw you a ball and get immediately wrecked by somebody waiting for you.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
If you can time if they can time some of those hits, like as soon as they catch the ball, you have zero reaction time to brace yourself for the hit.
Yeah, I mean, I think he went across. Hang on, I'm gonna watch it now. Yeah, he did. He went across the middle. Oh,
You're like, I'm open. I'm paralyzed.
Right? Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, I mean,
Actually, he probably said I'm paralyzed like a few days later when he woke up in the hospital.
he might have been awake. I'm looking here. I'm gonna share this with you. I'm gonna put it in the group so you can watch it. But yeah, like he just lay there like a slug on the field, like he didn't move. Of course, he couldn't move.
I was gonna say he couldn't move.
But it's a freaking preseason game. I wonder who the quarterback is. Is that Grogan? That might be Grogan. Oh, the ball was like way ahead of him, like way out in front of him. So who threw the pass? Is that Grogan? Who threw? Okay, I want to see who threw the pass to Daryl Stingley. Horribly, like he didn't even like lead him good.
I'm like, good luck trying to figure out what his name was on the back of a jersey from the 70s.
Well, I know. Well, I was going by number, so
Good luck figuring out what number
it
it
was
is.
Steve Grogan. I told you. Bam! Damn, I'm good, Tim. Look at that. It was Steve Grogan.
Yeah, I'd be mad at. I'd be like, Steve, what the hell, man?
Grogan took him to the Super Bowl. Well, not really. He replaced Tony Eason in the Super Bowl, but Grogan was their he was their starting quarterback for years. And he laid it way out there in front. Bam! Oh yeah, that's wicked. Well, Stingley did put his head down. There you go. There's a bit of NFL history. And Chris's head of useless knowledge knew who number 14 for the New England Patriots was in 1978. So there you go. Bam.
Tell me you're old without telling me you're old.
Huh?
I said, tell me you're old without telling me you're old.
Hey, I saw Roger Staubach play.
I haven't stopped back.
I saw Tony Dorsett play. I saw Ed Too Tall Jones play. So, but anyway, we'll move on. We'll move on to. Can we move on to? Oh, the Oscars were this past weekend. Have you seen any Oscar-nominated movies, Tim, this year, Tim?
No, I didn't.
You didn't see you didn't see Barbie or Oppenheimer?
No, I worked all weekend.
Yeah, but you didn't see either of those movies?
No.
Seriously?
I've heard Oppenheimer was really good.
Oppenheimer is really good. It won Best
I mean, I've
Picture,
seen like
actually.
plenty of like Oppenheimer like clips and stuff, but I've never like watched it.
Oh, it's really good. Barbie's good too. And I'm sorry, but Oppenheimer cleaned house. They like won everything.
I mean, Dune right now is killing the world. Dune 2 or whatever.
Yeah, I have no desire to see it, but I hear it's good. But
I mean,
yeah,
I saw an article that said like is on pace to literally like almost break Avengers, which was like the highest box office movie.
speaking of
And
Avengers, did you see Robert Downey Jr. won Best Supporting Actor?
in
It's
what movie?
he was in Oppenheimer.
Oh, okay.
He was really good. He deserved it. That he
I've
comes
always
full
liked
circle.
Robert Downey Jr. I've always thought he was a good actor.
Yeah, that crazy
It's hard
whack
to
job from.
it's hard to not think of him as Iron Man, but
I always think of him as uh, Derek from Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield. It's gross. Dune 2 has grossed 374 million worldwide. So, but yeah, he won Best Supporting Actor. Um, Best Actor was Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer won Best Picture.
I'm gonna assume Dune wasn't a part of any of
No,
this.
not yet because it came out too late.
So it'll be next year.
It'll be next year. Yeah, it'll probably get like visual and stuff like that.
Which I feel like that kind of like stinks for some movies because if you come out at the beginning of the if you
Well,
come out
that's
if your movie comes out right before the Oscars, like just enough time for people to like if it's a good movie to like fall in love with it for it to like blow up for like a month or so or something like that, and then the Oscars happen, like you're gonna probably win more awards than you would if you came out a month after the Oscars because then there's 10 or 11 months for movies to, usurp you essentially.
well. I mean, and that all like you said, it depends on when they when they release the movie. So if they wanted Dune to do that well, they would have released it, at Oscar
Oh,
season.
yeah.
So
or they would have like held on to it or something.
Right, exactly. But
Not that it's not going to do well. I just feel like for awards purposes, you're
yeah,
more likely.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. I mean, like I said, it'll probably win like visual.
Yeah,
I don't know if Villeneuve will be up for best director or not. That's a long way till next March for the Oscars. You know what I mean? Um, but I didn't watch them because I boycott the Oscars because I'm tired of hearing everybody's political agenda, and I just want to watch movies and I don't care
right.
anymore. I used to care about the Oscars. I don't care anymore. But there was a cool part where they took one of those tour buses, you know, that travels through Hollywood,
Yeah.
those double decker buses. Well, they made a stop at the theater and they led them in, and these people got off of the tour bus and they were at the Oscars.
No, that's awesome.
Right. And they lead them in to the Oscars, right? And they come down the front row. So who's on the front row? You got like Nicole Kidman's on the front row, and all these famous people, Jeff Bridges, and you've got all these famous people. Matt Damon's in the second row. But one thing I thought was really cool, and like a lot of the celebrities actually were nice, but the one celebrity I noticed over everything was Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
He was in the front row. He talked to every tourist that passed by him. He was the only celebrity to do that. He took pictures with people. He spent time with them in the middle of the Oscars, but he literally spent a few minutes of his time with all of these people. And I thought that was a pretty amazing thing. That says a lot about him as a person.
Yeah, definitely.
And I love the part of he doesn't take himself too seriously because his I Am Ken performance was freaking outstanding. Like he doesn't care. He will do whatever he needs to do for whatever. But it was hysterical. It
Oh,
was funny. I mean,
didn't they win? Didn't he win like best song or something?
no, no, a song from the movie won Best Song with Billie
Oh,
Eilish, but he did not win it. But he performed it, and he was in this pink suit. He's sitting behind Margot Robbie when he starts, and she is busting out laughing as soon as he starts singing. And he's like, "There's dancers up on the stage." It was quite a performance. So I have a lot of respect for Ryan Gosling. I think he's truly one of the good people in Hollywood. Um, he didn't seem to be faking it at all. So too bad he didn't win
I think
Best Song.
is it Ryan Gosling or am I thinking of somebody else? That dude from It's Always Sunny, Mac, and somebody bought like that European soccer team. I can't remember if it was Ryan
Ryan
Gosling.
Reynolds bought a
Oh,
soccer
Ryan
team.
Reynolds. No, it was Ryan. It was him and Ryan Reynolds. That's what it was. Yep.
Yeah, Ryan Gosling. He was what's he? He was in Remember
No,
the
yeah.
Titans.
No. I know. I
He was
just
a
thought it was.
liability too.
He
A
was
shitty
Sunshine,
player,
right?
huh?
Wasn't Ryan Gosling Sunshine?
No, he was not Sunshine. He was the defensive back that got burnt all the time.
Oh yeah. I mean,
I
this
just
sounds like this. This sounds like so ridiculous, but Remember the Titans was the first time when I was a kid was like, is this really how they treated other people? Like, was this? It was the first time I was like, where I felt a separation between me as a kid and like the history's past of like all this like racism. I was like, I can't imagine like someone getting kicked out of a restaurant in your own city that you're the football stars of just because you're a different color. When I was a kid, I could not wrap my mind around
well, I
that.
think it was what 60s South
I mean,
Carolina,
yeah, I don't
definitely.
remember like when I watched the movie, I was probably like 8 or 9 or something like that. But that was like the first time I was like, what the hell is wrong with people back
Is
then?
is there been a movie? Because I have one for this. Is there a movie that traumatized you as a kid, but you didn't want to tell anybody because you were afraid they wouldn't let you go to the movies or watch movies anymore?
Like traumatized as in like scared.
Yeah, like it like traumatized you, like it like messed you up, like as a kid. Not horribly messed you
I
up, but
I
it
have
messed you up at the time. But you didn't tell nobody.
I have one.
What is it?
Maybe two.
Okay.
The one that's like kind of was Signs, but I didn't see
Oh,
that.
okay. I can see that.
I didn't see that in the movie theater, but that was definitely not a movie I watched. And me and my cousin used to watch it all the time, and it was never any less scary, ever, ever. And we always had to make sure we had the remote on hand so we could skip the scene where they killed the dog. Uh, and then the one that was in the movie theaters was Boogeyman. And the reason was because of the way Boogeyman in the movie had like moved. It was like it could come out of every dark like crack and shadow and stuff like in your like wherever it was. And I had like me and my buddy went to go see it, and then he was sleeping over that night. And of course, we're looking around like my room, the living room, wherever we were hanging out, and we were like, "The boogeyman's gonna kill us." There's way too many spots to watch.
See, I don't have like I don't know. Maybe it's because we watched horror movies as kids, like the cheesy horror movies. Because Dad let us watch stay up late because, my dad's like, "Here, watch this. It's scary," and then he would put us to bed. Um, I guess we got used to it from like Dracula and Frankenstein and the Wolf Man and movies like that. But the one movie, it's crazy. It's not a
Oh,
horror movie.
here over there. Hey, watch a scary movie. Good night.
Yeah, Dead. Well, we watched a lot of them during the day too.
Yeah.
Creature feature kind of movies. But there was a movie that came out. We went to the movies and seen it, and it's called Taps with and it has George C. Scott in it, Tom Cruise. It's actually got an all-star cast. Timothy Hutton's in it. Tom Cruise is in it. Sean Penn is in it, right?
Yeah.
And what happens is it's um they're going to shut down this military school, right? Is the plot of the movie. So they're going to shut down the military school. Well, the guy who runs the military school is George C. Scott, and he has he ends up in the hospital. So the students take control of the school. Like they've got M16s, they're fully loaded. Like they're weaponed out big time, right? They don't want to close the school. So
That's what all
they've
of us.
they've taken over the school, right? So this is the terrifying scene for me. So um, these two kids are on guard, and I saw this. Let me see when it. Oh, where's my phone? I want to see when this came out. So um, we saw this in the movies because Dad was into George C. Scott, and it was PG. Um, but
I mean,
Taps came
PG
out.
back then. PG back then is not PG now.
No, it's definitely not. Definitely not. Definitely not. It'd be PG-13 now, probably. So it came out in '81. So I'm 11 years old. No, I'm 9 years old. Okay. So these two kids, probably 12, 13 years old, are sitting guard in the middle of the night. And this one kid gets up. He's like, I can't do this anymore. He's scared, because they have tanks outside the walls and the military is outside the walls. So the kid gets up. He's like, I can't take this anymore. So he runs towards the gate to get out and he throws his M16 on the ground. And his buddy's like, no, wait, come here. And the gun starts shooting, right? Shoots this kid like 6 times and he dies, right? So, like, this 12-year-old kid dies on screen from these gunshots. And that traumatized me so much as a kid because you don't watch your own. Normally, when you watch movies, you're not watching kids dying. You know what I mean? Especially as a kid.
They don't even let you kill kids in games most of the time.
I know, right? But yeah, so this kid, like, he gets blasted away by this M16 that's laying on the ground because he threw it to the ground. That movie traumatized me so much for so long. But I didn't want to tell my dad because as the youngest, you are taught not to tell on people on with injuries or anything that's traumatizing,
Right.
because then your parents won't let you do it anymore, right? And that was
Snitching.
that would have been, but that's my parents were the extreme. Here's this. Oh, it's traumatizing you. Well, we won't take you to any more movies like that. Enjoy Disney cartoons, Chris.
I didn't. It wasn't a movie, but coincidentally enough, it was something from a movie. I had this Predator toy, like like just like a little action figure Predator.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I don't know if I've ever said this on the podcast before, but I had this little Predator toy, and at one point, I mean, I still every once in a while have the nightmare, and it's still just as terrifying. Predator is like literally stalking me, and like it's like always like impossible to get away. And as a kid, like I was afraid to go to sleep sometimes because of how terrified I was that he was just going to be like waiting for me. And it was like every night. It was awful. And to the point where like my parents took the Predator toy like away, and like I don't know why they didn't throw it away, but they like hid it somewhere or whatever. And it got to the point where I remember thinking to myself, every time this was like a while like later down the road, it was like every time I show up in the dream, I'm like semi aware that it's a dream, but not like totally. And
Right.
I would always wake up with like a pillow in my hand or my blanket or like a stuffed animal. It was whatever I was holding on to. So then I had a brilliant idea. If whatever I'm holding on to comes with me in the dream, I have so many like Power Rangers, like toy weapons and stuff. So I literally slept like for the next couple nights with like all of these toy weapons in my bed, like holding on to them while I was going to sleep. I remember vividly in the dream and him like chasing me and then looking down and realized that I had like the Red Ranger's sword in my hand, and I fought and killed the Predator. And then for like years I never had the dream again. And then it like popped up once randomly. But that was like a traumatizing, it wasn't, I never saw a Predator back then. But the toy, for whatever, I'm sure you can picture the toy Predator that I had with his like mouth open and shit. But yeah, I remember like that was a traumatizing thing for me. Even now, every once in a while, I have the nightmare, and it's still just as terrifying. And
See,
God damn Predator again. Every time I wake up from it, I'm like, son of a bitch.
my scary dream was there was a Tyrannosaurus Rex coming down the road, and it
And
was
you can
eating.
never run past them.
It was eating people. I remember this. I don't know how old I was. I might have been 7, 8 years old. I vividly remember this dream. In fact, I went for a drive today just because I don't go anywhere, and if I don't drive, my car battery dies. So, and I drove through the neighborhood where this happened, where this T-Rex walked down the road and was eating people. Because everybody was outside back then. Nobody stayed inside and hid like they do now. But yeah, so between the movie Taps and a T-Rex chasing and eating people, that was my childhood traumatizing there. So, but I mean, but yeah, Taps traumatized me at all. And then because like they were like teenagers and kids were like dying. Like this one guy was trying to put gas in a generator, right? And they lit the thing and it kicked back and it set the guy on fire. Like it's a brutal ass movie. I'm not gonna lie.
Have
Kids are
you
getting shot. They're getting caught on fire.
have you started watching Halo yet?
I have not watched Halo yet.
I don't
I
know.
hardly watch TV anymore. I
Well,
started rewatching Game of Thrones though,
it's
and
on Paramount.
it makes a heck of a lot more sense now than it did when I first started watching it.
Yeah, well, when you have all the facts, it's always better to go back
I know
again.
there's like, oh, that's
Then
that
you're
guy.
Because then you're like, ooh, hey, what's up, you traitor son of a bitch? I remember you.
I was
Oh,
like,
like
oh,
I
that's.
can't wait for you to get kicked down that well. That'll be
I forgot, like I was watching it the other night, and I'm only in the first season, and like the guy, it was like he was like he kind of took care of
Arya.
Ned Stark, right?
Yeah.
And Ned's getting ready to fight uh the Kingslayer, right? And the what's his name? He takes his knife and sticks it in that guy's eyeball to his head, and I totally forgot about that part. I was like, "Oh, that's right, this guy dies."
And you gotta remember, they also had to start off strong too. Not that any of the rest of the series was like weak by any stretch of imagination, but
Right.
those first few, like the first season, had to have something that was like, oh shit, Game of Thrones is the real deal.
Yeah.
Shit's going down.
Yeah. I feel like, and it kind of ended on a down note. And I guess that's where, like, if you watched, like if you watch Boardwalk Empire, that whole it was very much the same way. You know, it starts off big, but it ends big. It doesn't end with, you know,
A lot of shows like peak like a couple seasons right before the end. Like whether it's the season right before, like maybe like the last season of every Star Trek I can think of is not the best one.
no.
Usually the best one is like season 4. Like for the Next Generation, for Voyager, and for Deep Space Nine. Maybe Deep Space Nine would be 5 or 6, but for the most part, for the other two, it's 4. It's in the middle. And I can think of a lot of shows where the best season isn't the last one, because it's always like, you know, the show's like on the high, so it gets renewed one more season or something like that.
Right.
Last season is just like slapped together, like Supernatural, for example. The Some of the best Supernatural episodes were like season 4, and Supernatural is like 13 seasons long or something like that.
See, I
Because
feel like Boardwalk Empire ended really well.
I think House, I think, I don't know if you've ever seen the last episode of House, but
I
House
never
is
saw it.
my favorite season finale of anything ever. It was
See,
like,
you should. You have HBO Max, right?
yeah.
You should watch Boardwalk Empire. It's 5 seasons,
Oh yeah.
like
Uh,
10 to 12 episodes a season, I think. Yeah, the last season is 8 episodes.
I think in my head I'm mixing up Boardwalk Empire and Power.
No, yeah, probably. Boardwalk Empire has Steve Buscemi in it.
Yeah.
He plays Nucky Thompson. It's got Michael Shannon. Dude, Michael Shannon is vicious in this show. He was Lex Luthor, right?
I know Mikey talks about it all the time, but I keep seeing clips from Peaky Blinders. They do not
Yeah,
mess up.
everybody talks about Peaky Blinders,
They
but
do
it's on
not.
Netflix and I
No.
don't have it.
I don't know, like, if it's just like obviously it's like the best scenes that I'm seeing and how spread out they are amongst like the season and the whole series as a whole or whatever. But
Mhm.
some of those scenes are sick. I'm like, it makes me want to like watch it.
Oh my god, I didn't know that the kid that played in Boardwalk Empire was the hockey player on the Mighty Ducks.
Flying V, baby.
But yeah, Boardwalk Empire is really good. But it's got there's all kind of people in Boardwalk Empire. You got Steve Buscemi, Michael Shannon, Shea Wiggum's in it. Um, Gretchen Mole's in it. She's really good. I highly recommend Boardwalk Empire. It's Michael Pitt is in it. I heard he's hard to work with as an actor, Michael Pitt. He'd been in a couple of things besides. What was he in? He was in an old movie I remember called Bully, which was based on a true story about these kids in Florida. This kid was like a bully to him, so they let him out into the swamp and shot him and beat him in the head with a baseball bat, hoping that the alligators would come and get him. It's based on a true story. It really happened in South Florida. A pack of naive teenagers conspire to murder a mutual friend whose aggressive demeanor has proven too much. That's got Nick Stahl and Brad Renfro in it. Bijou Phillips, Rachel Miner. She was married to uh, Kevin from Home Alone. Macaulay Culkin.
Macaulay Culkin.
But it's that movie is out there, man. Like it's vicious too. Bully. It came out in 2001. It's pretty crazy. But Michael Pitt's in that. But well, you know why? Okay, so the director of Boardwalk Empire is the same guy who directed a lot of Game of Thrones. So there you go. Timothy Van Patten. He directed 18 episodes of Boardwalk Empire. And he's part of Riff Track. Not he's part of Mystery Science Theater 3000 history because Master Ninja is in Master Ninja. He did 20 episodes of The Sopranos. God, this guy's involved in some heavy stuff, ain't he? Jeez. How many did he do of I'm looking to see how many he did of Timothy Van Patten. He did 2 episodes of Boardwalk Empire. But a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff. I haven't watched too much stuff lately. Like I said, IndyCar season started. Snooze Fest out of St. Pete this weekend.
I'm just gonna have my once a week stuff. Like I have 2 more episodes of Halo that's on Thursdays, and then I have the new season of Star Trek Discovery. It's like April 4th or 5th or something like that, and then that's probably 10 episodes. And then in July, my favorite anime is coming out with their new series, so I'll have.
Oh, speaking of anime, didn't the guy that like created Dragon Ball Z die?
Yes, he did. It's a very sad day.
Yeah. So for you Dragon Ball Z fans, sorry that your guy died.
I don't remember how old he was, but I don't think he was that old.
He was like in his 60s or 70s, wasn't he? He wasn't super old.
I'm gonna say I'm not sure if he was. I can't remember if he was like 30s young or if he was like 60.
No, he was in his 60s, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that would make sense. He couldn't be 30 because Dragon Ball Z came out 30 years ago.
Right.
Or like around there, not 30, but like, yeah.
There's nothing at the movies coming out. But I will say this because I just see that Kung Fu Panda 4 is out, right? Thank you, Jack Black, for giving us a.
I mean, I enjoy.
Jack Black has given us a cover song we didn't know we needed.
I don't think that you could pick a Jack Black movie and say it's bad.
No, but his song. Have you heard his version of "Hit Me, Baby, One More Time" by Britney Spears?
No, but I'll have to listen to it later.
Oh my God, it is so freaking good. It's
like everything he's in, like School of Rock's, obviously, like one of my favorite ones.
But I have a feeling he's one of those guys that could probably sing anything, and it's gonna be good.
And he just has to put his little like Jack Blackness into it.
Yes, yeah. He puts his own. He sings it his way.
Even if it's not like great, it's good because he's like singing it his own. Even if he's like wow, like he could still like fit it into the song so well that I mean, he's a musician. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Yeah. I'm like I said, I didn't know that I needed that remake of that song and that he could pull that off. But that's actually a great segue, honestly, to my next mini segment I want to talk about is so I've been, because of work has been basically mentally draining me, I have shut off the TV, right? And during the week, I watch TV on the weekends. And that's so I don't go out and spend money, really. It keeps me out of the record store. But I listen to a lot of Spotify, and I didn't stumble upon. I kind of okay. So I caught Miley Cyrus's performance at the Grammys, right? So I started listening to Miley Cyrus on Spotify, and like Jack Black, she can sing anything and get away with it. She is that good.
Yeah, because she's Hannah Montana, baby.
I listened to her. She's got a live album out, I guess, and which is really good, honestly. It's live. It's called Attention is the name of the album. And she goes from she sings Bang Bang. Bang Bang was a song back in the 60s, I believe, by Nancy Sinatra, or maybe it was Cher, one of the other. That's an old song. She covers Like a Prayer by Madonna. She goes from Wrecking Ball into Nothing Compares to You which is a Prince song, and it was sang by Sinead O'Connor. She sings Jolene by frickin' Dolly Parton. Heart of Glass, which was a Blondie song. This girl can sing anything and everything. She's that good.
She's just got that vocal range.
Now, my question is, why is she not as popular as Taylor Swift? She's got 1,000% more talent than Taylor Swift ever had.
Because Miley Cyrus went crazy for 5 years.
Do you think that's what it was? Chris thought about that too. He said that maybe it's because she went wackadoodle and tatted up and ran around naked and.
That's what I would say.
Turned people off.
She had like that Britney Spears moment where she went and shaved her head. And
yeah, but now she's got that song "Young" where she talks about it being crazy. You know,
which I mean that's what Eminem did. Relapse was an awful album, and it was in Eminem's drugged out phase, and then the next album on Recovery, he talked about how shitty his album was and how he was on drugs.
Yeah, she talks about it in it's called Used to Be Young, I think is what it is. Yeah, Used to Be Young. Let's see here. Hang on one sec. Let's see if I can pull this up. Because the lyrics are yeah, it turns out open bars lead to broken hearts. I know I used to be crazy, or I know I used to be crazy. I know I used to be fun. You say I used to be wild. I say I used to be young. You tell me time has done changed me. That's fine. I've had a good run. I know I used to be crazy. That's because I used to be young, which is right.
We're all crazy when we're young.
Right. You know, we all do stupid things, and she just was out in the open. But her talent level, if somebody offered me front row seats, a meet and greet, and a freaking seafood buffet to Taylor Swift, or lawn seats to Miley Cyrus, I would take the lawn seats for Miley Cyrus.
No, I'm going to see Taylor.
I don't know. I think because plus the level of writing, as far as the song is concerned, Taylor writes like a teeny bopper, like somebody's hurt her feelings and she's Miley's a little bit different. She's very adult in her writing compared to Taylor Swift. And maybe Taylor is singing to a younger crowd. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that Flower song that Miley Cyrus wrote was really good. You know, where she talks about, I can buy myself flowers, I can write my name in the sand. Because that's about her ex-husband. I can take myself dancing, and I can hold my own hand. I can love me better than you. I mean, just her writing, her it's a lot more mature. Her songs are more mature than Taylor Swift, I think. But yeah, I think I would definitely pick. I'm all about Miley Cyrus. That's all I've been listening to lately. Is Miley Cyrus.
Well, on that note, everybody, if you want to, we're gonna end on a strong note on Chris loving Miley Cyrus.
Chris loves Miley Cyrus.
I mean, but who doesn't love Hannah Montana, right?
This is true.
You can. You can catch us at Spotify, YouTube. That's all I got. iTunes,
Amazon, and TuneIn.
I was gonna say TuneIn, Amazon. Okay, I had 3 out of 5.
That's right.
Pretty good.
That is pretty good.
I'm doing better than Chris already.
Take a shot. He's not here. He can't defend himself.
Heading on out. Who's Your Nerds podcast? Come and listen to us, y'all.